Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game 2 of this Best of 3 series set framing the Raidcall Do2 League Season 3 match between Alliance and Liquid. Liquid, keep in mind, Korok's flight was delayed at the time this game was played, but they are bootcamping in Las Vegas. Meanwhile, Alliance making their way to Kiev to play in the Starlighter Land Finals, so both teams training very, very hard. Alliance actually decided to deny their invite to the Raidcall or to the Raidcall EMS Land Finals in Katowice, Poland, in order to train up for TI3. But both teams looking to start the really big grind because only 1 month away. TI3 is a bit of Yoda speak right there, but you get the main picture. But Liquid, game 1, they played really well. They put a Sand King mid, and Alliance's lanes were just not sufficient to keep TC down in terms of farm. TC just absolutely manhandled Alliance in late stages of the game, and KZ on the Sand King in the mid lane role just played pretty well as well. So Odds, can they respond, as Liquid played very, very well, and they really need to get their act together. I mean, they have always been a really good team, but I mean, we expect a lot of great things from Liquid, and I mean, you can't. It's not really fair to put such high expectations on the team, but they've played so well for so long that seeing them struggle for quite a long time after the G1 finals in China is a bit disappointing for an American Dota fan. So we'll have to see if Liquid can respond, as they have been not looking very shaky, but they played a superb game 1. But they're going to have to put on another spectacular performance to bring down the best in the West in the form of Alliance in game 2. And again, both teams looking to get a lot of momentum, since Navi and Alliance showed in China that the gap between the East and West is not really as big as it was in TI2. So with appropriate training, teams like Liquid, Dignitas, Virtus.pro, Fnatic can potentially get themselves up to levels that a lot of Eastern teams have been able to get themselves towards, or even surpass the level, as Alliance did show in Shanghai in May. So Alliance going to get rid of the Clockwork themselves, got rid of the Lifesteal as well, so they're going to, I don't know, Alliance not really one of the teams that likes to pick up Treant, but they might go for the Treant in this game, and they are actually going to get them the Treant. Treant just too good of a hero. As interesting, as this game was definitely played before the patch was implemented, but you can see the damage instances are 4, 5, 6, 7, so I guess a bit of a bug in the replay system with the new patch being implemented tonight. But Alliance got themselves a Treant. Liquid going to respond to Darkseer as well as Chen. Very stable picks. We'll see if Alliance get something like an OD or a Weaver to try to emulate Quantic, or if they're going to go with a little bit more of a Flare. They're going to get themselves a Lone Trade as well. This is just going to be so annoying for Liquid to kill off, as really they don't have any burst damage heroes just yet, and Treant does mitigate a lot of burst damage presence, yes, and Ion Shell does help to counteract Living Armor to a certain extent, but I don't have a Bulldog and Lone Druid with only a Chen and Darkseer. How are you going to actually gank this guy? You can smoke up with the Chen, but it's going to be really difficult to kill off Bulldog on his signature hero. And we're going to see if Liquid can respond. They're going to have the Weaver. A smart choice, since Treant and Weaver is such an annoying combination. It allows Weaver to take so many risks and allows him to forego a lot of survivability in order to play a lot more offensively. So this will likely be a Treant Protector support. I mean, the only team I've ever seen Treant Protector run in the offlane was EG when they ran Sexy Bambo on the Treant Protector once, and it just was simply not enough, since Treant was forced to constantly spam the Living Armor on himself. It was not able to spam it on the mid lane or on the tri lane. So support Treant Protector, this will likely be played as. So it will be likely defensive tri lane for Alliance. Liquid, very standard lanes. I don't think Liquid is a huge fan of challenging the aggressive or defensive tri lane with the Chen choice. They don't really have what it takes to really break through the Treant Protect armor. They might have to go with a hero like a Gyrocopter to get the Rocket Barrage going, and Gyrocopter does scale very well into the late game, and he's a very, very stable carry, all things considered. Still, do you want to go for such a late game choice if Gyrocopter does get ganked off? I mean, that's up to Liquid. Will they have what it takes to take the game to the late stages of the game? That remains to be seen, as Liquid going to get rid of the puck, as Alliance going to get rid of the Gyrocopter, correctly predicting Liquid's options, I think, in this situation. So Liquid, what do they need? They need one more support, they need a mid, and they need their carry. As Liquid goes to go to Venomancer, Venomancer has received a rise in popularity because of the rise in popularity of Treant, since Treant Living Armor is similar to Refraction, and Venomancer, of course, with his damage over time abilities, do tear through refraction or tear through the living armor very, very quickly, but it's a completely different beast since living armor is global. It costs so little mana and can be spammed so frequently, and it can also be used on buildings. And Venomancer, he can't be everywhere on the map. He doesn't have global poison as much as he wants it, so it's a bit of a different situation. I don't think Venomancer necessarily counters Trend, but he does do a bit better than other heroes, and definitely better than other supports, especially in a 5v5 team fight. Alliance going to get themselves a Keeper of the Light, so getting themselves one of Ake's trademark supports. I mean, Ake at this stage has so many trademark supports that you can't really call them trademark supports, but Keeper of the Light, definitely one of the heroes that he has played very well with in the past. Interesting hero. They don't really have any heroes to really boost up the mana pools on side Alliance, because Bear doesn't need really that much mana, Tree doesn't need that much mana either. Still, once Alliance start getting their push going, they can just stay in one lane, use Living Armor, use Leech Seed, and then get the Chakra Magic field up, and really Liquid, they have some strong toiling potential with Darkseer as well as Venomancer. Still, Alliance, when they start grouping up, it's going to be very difficult for Liquid to stop them, and they don't have the split force that can contend with Alliance's Death Ball at this stage, especially if Bulldog does receive a lot of free farm. So Liquid thinking long and hard, what should we actually go for here? They have their support backline, they need their mid, they need their hard carry. I think the best hard carry in this situation is somebody like an Alchemist, where you can just make it even more difficult for a team like Alliance to push in. You have Az's Fate to rip through the living armor a bit more effectively. You have minus armor to really render the Bear's tankiness a lot less effective. And of course, if you are in a defensive tron, you can farm up to such a degree that you can perhaps make up some of the tower gold that you will inevitably lose once Alliance start pushing in. So I think Alchemist is the perfect hero. And he also has a disable, which Liquid currently have all of none on their team thus far. And Alliance, they have no reliable disables either. Liquid gonna get themselves a Viper. Now you all know I love Viper. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Dota 2 Viper model because it looks like a fat slug with backwards wings. It looks pretty stupid. But I love Viper as a hero just because, I mean, he's very simple, but he's also very complicated because you just need to do everything right in the late game, early game, because he does not scale very well into the late game. I think Liquid, I don't know if Viper's the right choice. I do like the synergy that Darkseer does give Viper, since you can surge forward Viper, and Viper's main deficiency is that he does lack AoE damage and he's extremely slow. But Viper does do pretty well against Treant because he has poison, and damage over time does render living armor a little bit less effective. But again, it's global, it can be used on towers, it can be used anywhere. That's the main problem with living armor. And also Liquid, they picked up a lot of immobile heroes, and Darkseer won't really be able to go for the ganks. Meow, they might be able to lane control Lone Druid and Keeper Light and Treant Protector to a certain extent. Still, I don't know if they have what it takes to usher them completely out of the lane. And Alliance, they still could potentially pick up the OD. I don't know if they necessarily like the OD Tree combo, but OD Tree definitely can put a hurt on Viper in the middle lane if Viper does choose to go for the mid lane matchup. And at a certain point, Viper, because he's only a single target hero, he's really not that strong in the anti-push, and he won't really be able to do a sufficient amount enough damage to bring down the ridiculously tanky nature of Alliance's lineup. So I do like Viper. I don't know if he's the correct choice in this game, just because he's single target, he's slow, and I don't know if he can necessarily get off enough ganks unless there's some hardcore roaming going on by Chen as well as Venomancer, which inevitably will lead to them being underleveled. Well, that's interesting enough, gonna get themselves a Magnus, so it seems like they only like to pick a Magnus when they can get the Lone Druid, so they can empower the bear, go to work on the tower, then just sit back, wait for the bear to siege up. And Magnus is still a very powerful hero in the late stage game. His early game killing potential has been completely mitigated, but once they have 0 gankers on their lineup, they're just gonna sit in their lanes, wait till they get their items, and then they're gonna push in. They have no gankers whatsoever. And Liquid, they banned out the Anti-Mage. Alliance got rid of the Dragonite. So we'll see what Liquid decides to go for here. Right now they still need their hard carry, unless Viper is played as a hard carry, which I don't think should be his role, since I think he does handle himself quite adequately in the middle lane. And I mean, how can you actually... Viper is just not the best hard carry since he's so immobile. And there's a certain point in the game, even if Viper does get far ahead, he's just so slow and he doesn't do that much damage outside of another toxin that if the other team's at full HP and if Viper's left by himself, there's not really too much Viper can do. Liquid are going to secure themselves to Sand King, so they're saying, you picked up the Magnus mid, we're going to carry Viper in the side safe lane, we're going to put Sand King mid so you can just annoy your melee hero to no end with Caustic Finale, but this time, Magnus says, Shaco, you guys range nuke Clockwork has a range nuke as well, but not on the level of the shockwave coming in from Magnus. Rocket Flare has a longer cooldown, doesn't do as much damage, and cannot control the runes as adequately as Magnus' shockwave. So Liquid, I don't think Sand King is necessarily a good choice, and they only have one stun. How are they going to kill off Bulldog, the Lone Druid? Yes, they have a lot of slow. Yes, the Lone Druid is annoyed by slow. But where's the burst going to come from? Alliance, on the end, if they manage to get an RP, well, they don't have that much burst either, so maybe they're going to get themselves a burst to carry. I still think Alchemist would have been the best option for Liquid. I really don't understand the Viper choice at all. I'm trying to justify it, but why pick up Viper with Venomancer? Or why pick up Viper to carry tree when you already have Venomancer and Darkseer? Do you need to just go all out for the tree? And Liquid, I think they have the right idea of it, going up against tree, and they picked up, in one matchup from the DreamHack Invitational against Quantic, they picked up a Juggernaut, Visage, and Rubik Triline, and that just completely crushed Quantic's defensive Triline. Alliance gonna get the Bristleback. What the hell is going on? Wow, my first time casting Bristleback in a Dota 2 match. This hero, he's an interesting fellow, as just a bit of background Dota history. There was a point in 6.48 that Bristleback was completely overpowered. You just got so much damage reduction from Bristleback they could just tank up everything to such a ridiculous degree with Radiance and Close Spray they could just kill everybody and just really just not ever have to face your opponents. Bristleback's an interesting hero. He's still a very, very strong early to mid-game hero. The problem is that he can only really be laned in a tri-lane, since he does want to have farm. He has some good stat growth, he has a good strength growth, he has a good intelligence growth, he has a reasonable agility growth. He's very, very tanky. Unfortunately, the big problem with Bristleback if you play him as a carry is that in order for him to do the most amount of damage, yeah, you can spam close, but at a certain point the other team does manage to stack up enough armor that the close don't mean as much. So in order for Bristleback to actually hit people, he has to turn and face them, which is not what Bristleback wants to do. He wants to be facing away from them. So if you don't have the damage back up to allow Bristleback to sort of face away, he'll have to charge in head first, and he's just going to take so much extra damage as a result. Now, I'm not too sure the reason why Liquid picked up Bristleback in this game. Maybe they say outside of Darkseer Surge and saying Burrow Strike, how are you going to escape? Bad luck, have fun is the call by everybody. I guess outside of Burrow Strike as well as Surge, I mean, Liquid, it's going to be difficult for them to escape. Maybe they also want to draw off some of the focus of Bulldog if Liquid just pour all their eggs into killing off the Lone Druid, and that could be a reasonable option, because if Liquid just focused all their attention on the Bulldog, then Alliance Surge is really lacking a lot of DPS. So Bristleback could help to absorb some of the focus fire that's going Bulldog's way. He can also chase pretty effectively. He does a lot of physical damage. Liquid don't really have the highest armor value heroes in general. I mean, their armor values are decent. So Close Spray can remain pretty effective all game long. Well, not all game long, but to a certain degree. And Alliance, are they going to go on the offensive with the Bristleback tri-lane? Wow. Not expecting this, not gonna lie. I think Bristleback, he's decent in aggressive tri-lane since Close Spray hits everybody and does annoy people to no end. Well, they're actually dueling this. Looks like they will, since each is just going to be pulling. So is Bristleback the new dueling carry? I guess they don't really anticipate Loda farming too well. They just want him to survive. And we'll see if he can actually do that. But interesting, the players and teams, I really just don't know what to make of this Bristleback choice. I don't know why they picked it up, other than just to say, alright, tank. And they have living armor as well as Bristleback, so I guess they can do just that. Living armor is similar to Darkseer, where you can just synergize it with every hero and make them a lot more powerful. As IX Mike is taking a lot of Cool Spray damage. Wow, IX Mike just severely underestimating the power of Bristleback, as Lume is going to fly and clean up the first blood. Why the hell is IX Mike dancing back and forth? Wow. Some unfamiliarity coming in from IX Mike already. So introducing the players and teams on the side of Alliance. So going to have S4 playing the Magnus and Million, Ake is playing the Keep of the Light on the top lane, Lotus playing the Bristleback on the top lane as well. Ichim is playing the Dream Protector, doing some pulls. Actually picked up a double damage and is just going to go to work on the creep camper. You can see he's already doing 176 damage per hit. Really, really nice recognition by EGM. And Aaron Bullock is playing his trademark Lone Druid Meow. On the side, look, we're going to have TC playing the Viper in the mid lane. IX Mike is playing the Venomancer. Fluff is playing the Chen. Bulba is playing the Darkseid. Sand King is going to be put by KZ. So it's going to be a farming tri-lane Sand King. And a dual lane, offensive dual lane. Well, not really an offensive dual lane, just a dual lane with Bristleback Keeper. I guess this is a cute combo because Bristleback will never run a man to spam his clothes, and clothes are very annoying. And even though Bristleback does have very good intelligence growth, in the early game he wants to spam the clothes, and he will lack in mana if he does manage to get enough clothes going. And really, how can Liquid actually kill off the Bristleback once he gets enough points into his passive? Unless Bristleback makes a huge mistake. So this is a really clever usage of Bristleback. But once Liquid manages to get some magic sticks online, Bristleback won't be able to find kills as easily. You can see Sand immediately picking up a magic stick. Look for X-Mike to pick up a magic stick as well as soon as he hits 200 gold. Well, he might buy the flying courier, but that's pretty much all you go for. Me on the middle lane, S4 having a bit of problem with TC despite being living armored up to a sufficient degree. But again, Viper not having any AoE means that it's going to be very difficult to come by clearing out the creeps. As Loda going to be stunned in place. He is going to die. He's going to get stumped, and he will get killed off. KZ going to be in launch out himself. A couple more attacks, but Ake could potentially clean up the kill. But KZ going to pop the magic sticks. Should be able to get himself to safety, but no, S4 says, surprise, bitches. I'm going to come in with the skewer. Going to skewer one hero. Goes back in on Fluff. Lume does barely manage to hit Fluff as the shotgun going to come in. What a rotation. What a fortuitous haste rune being picked by S4. And that is going to give S4 such a huge advantage. Oh my god. That was such a lucky haste rune for S4. There's no way to put it about it. There's no other way to mince words. That was lucky haste rune. But S4 capitalized it as best he possibly could. He picked up a triple kill and now have a lot of sustainability against the Viper. Since he's a full level ahead, he has the Shockwave, which does more damage, and Viper, again, being a single target hero, won't really be able to push out the creep waves to such extent that he will be able to regain room control. So right now, Alliance have been able to take control of the game, despite Bristleback dying once. Still, Magnus winning the mid lane, and the bottom lane being completely won by Alliance, means the Alliance are looking in good shape. Even though Bulba is doing his best creep skipping attempts, will be able to kill off these creeps relatively easily, and there's really not too much Shuriken can do about it. But he's level 3, he's getting that level 3 living armor online, and again, level 1 living armor, not that good. Level 2, pretty good. Level 3 and level 4 is when it becomes truly obnoxious. An interesting maneuver by Bulba is going to actually pull the creeps in towards the neutrals to try to pick up as much farm as possible. As Meal on the top lane, another engagement will be breaking out. Loda going to get poisoned up, taking a lot of damage. He will die once again, going to pop the magic stick, but just went a little bit in over his head as Lumia's going to fly in. Doesn't actually kill off Fluff as Loda aggressive trialing, playing super aggressively with the living arm, but just level 1 Bristleback is simply not enough. Once he gets level 2 though, it's going to be a different story, as that just gives you even more damage reduction. I mean, 8% damage increase from the back is quite significant. And even though Loda has died twice, he's doing quite a good job. He's really restricting KZ's farm. This is going to be a very late dagger if KZ does actually farm it up. Keeper is contesting creep kills with the Illuminate. So this defense or offensive dual lane is working out very well for the squad of Alliance. They're really coming out ahead in terms of gold grab. Only Darkseer's farming particularly well up on the bottom lane, but soon the bear will hit that level 5 and will be able to get the Entangled Roots online as Bulldog gonna lose his bear. Bulba desperately wants the 300 gold. Will be able to secure it. Will be able to do just that. That was very well timed by Bulba. Nice recognition of Lone Druid, and unfortunately Bulldog, he didn't have the bear up, and that is going to give Bulba a huge boost in gold. And now Aki is in the Lacho, going to get poison galled. Aki most certainly will probably die, as Living Armor just says, no Aki, you will be saved, but Test Faith going to come in, will clean up the kill. So Alliance making a couple mistakes here and there. Really uncharacteristic by Bulldog, but I guess Darkseer always creep skipping means that the bear is just taking way too much damage, and a lot of these creeps are having iron shells dropped in them as well. So Bulba picking up a huge amount of gold, will be able to finish Soul Ring as Bulba as well, so he now will never run out of mana. Beyond the middle lane, S4 trying to clean up a kill on the Viper, has the RP online, and Shockwave is coming up relatively soon. RP will be used. Shockwave is going to come up in 1 second. TC most likely going to die. He is going to die, and unfortunately TC was not able to get enough poison going his way, as Smoking is coming in for Liquid. I don't know if Alliance was able to spot out with this ward, but the Plague Ward going to be dropped, and now Alliance are fully aware that Liquid are rotating as a response. But they're going to look for Bulldog, and Bulldog seems to know something is up. I mean, what direction will Liquid go? They dropped a Plague Ward, so Liquid, I think, a bit of a mistake dropping the Plague Ward. If they didn't drop the Plague Ward, then I think Lance might not know this gank was coming in, but we'll see if Liquid actually have enough damage to bring down the Lone Druid, as the Living Armor going to be applied very, very soon onto Bulldog. The Iron Shell going to rip through it very, very quickly, as Ix Mike try and get in position. Nice blocks by Bulba, but Ix Mike, unfortunately for him, does with the Gale. Now Bulba on the retreat, going to be leech seeded up, and Liquid, this gank has been a complete failure. Meanwhile, the top lane, Cool Spray going to drive KZ off the lane single-handedly, as Nasal Glue starting to be stacked up, going to slow down KZ by enough to scare him away. And I think that's the biggest problem with Bristleback. That Nasal Glue animation just has such a long casting animation / casting point that it's very difficult for him to actually, you know, chase super effectively in the early stages of the game. But that's withstanding a gank level 8 on Bulldog. He picked up the minus, so he will be able to retrieve some gold despite being pressured on this bottom lane. And Tree, only level 3, is going to look to get some levels in the middle lane. Not going to be threatened by Viper too much, since Viper doesn't really have any ways to catch the Treant. KZ just trying to sap as much experience as possible, not even getting himself a boost speed. And you can see Loda really not being trolled by mana, since Keeper is constantly chakraing him up to a sufficient enough level that he will literally never run out of mana. And Bulba going to teleport himself in, but some nicely placed alliance words means that Loda is aware that something fishy is afoot, and he did see rotation by Bulba, so Liquid, their rotations are just really not working out for them. And these rotations are very costly. They're costing Liquid a lot of experience, they're costing him a lot of gold as well. So Liquid definitely coming out the worst for wear in these exchanges, even if they are very slight, and even if no kills are picked up as a result. I mean, Bulba, he can make up some of the experience by jolling up, but I mean, his supports are just going to be so underloaded for Liquid. And Alliance, we'll see if the Death Ball push is going to start relatively soon. Not too sure what Bulldog will go for. He might go for the Radiance, might go for the Maelstrom as well. Radiance is probably a good option up against likes of Sanking and against the squishy heroes of Liquid. And Bulldog seems to be favoring the Radiance Rush a lot more these days rather than the Maelstrom Rush. I think Maelstrom is only really when you're very far behind, as Radiance is more effective when you're ahead. Still very effective with the 50 damage per second, as that is an immense amount of damage on a tanky hero. It means that you will be able to get off a lot of damage in T5s. KZ gonna get the Burrow Strike online. We'll drop the Epicenter as well onto Ake. But Ake just a bit too fast, and KZ, you can see, well, he did have boost speed online, but Lord just too tanky, and KZ slowed down too much to actually kill off Ake. So KZ will get killed off, and Bristleback just going to escape from that engagement very, very easily. Meanwhile, Leech Seed and Living Armor will be applied, going to withstand the effects of Viper Strike, and TC going to have to get himself out of there. Has invisibility room, so he can do just that. Still, S4 going to approach the middle lane, has the Arcane Boots, making his way towards the dagger very, very quickly. So right now, Liquid, these early game engagements definitely not coming into their favor. And I don't know if they really have the strongest late game options either against the likes of Bristleback as well as Lone Druid. I mean, I really don't see the synergy in Liquid's lineup. This seems to be like, we really hate Tree, we'll pick up a lot of heroes that we think are good against Tree. Because I really don't see any synergy in this Liquid lineup. And we really like slowing people down. That's pretty much it. But Loda now picked up a Cloak, got 1 point of the Viscous Naze School. 1 point is pretty much all you need for the early stages of the game, because, I mean, the slow duration, initial slow duration is pretty strong at all levels, 20%, and the stack, it's not really that important, especially when you have enough slows. As Alex meant, once again, whipping the Viper, or the Venomous Scale RP, gonna be cancelled by S4, as he's just juking back and forth, has a sufficient amount of skewer levels to get himself right out of there, as Ake, looking to escape on out of there, will be able to do just that. And meanwhile, Loda getting himself back into the thick of things, has Living Armor being applied to him, his Viper Strike will be thrown on him as well. Illuminate, gonna kill off one of the Chen Creeps as Loda starting to stack the Viscous Nasal. One of the problems with Bristleback is that it does not take reduced damage from towers, and this tower is actually doing a lot of damage to Loda. The Viper Strike, or Poison Attack, will clean up the kill as Loda went in 2 balls deep. So Venomancer for Bristleback very much in favor of Liquid. But look at Bulldog pushing out the bottom lane all the while. And Liquid, they don't have the mobility to respond to a Lone Druid pushing in. And this is gonna be a double minus spare. Wow. Okay, you can get double minus. This is something you can do in Dota 2, you couldn't do in Dota 1, but you can't get 2 minuses, one for your hero, one for your bear. Or you can just put them both on your bear, and you can just switch off the minus whenever you need to use them. But it is pretty useful if you want to get a lot of experience very, very quickly. And I mean, if you want to go for the super late game. So I guess Lone Druid will go for this double minus build. Interesting choice as Illuminate gonna catch out Fluff as here comes Skewer by Magnus. That Radiant Observer Ward just spotting out Fluff and stuff perfectly, and Fluff just blissfully unaware of what was happening in his own jungle was killed off way too easily. And S4 has picked up a mega kill, and that should be his dagger in the next 200 gold. Yeah, okay. Level 6 has a Tranquil Boots. Loda picked up the Cloak, has a Magic Wand as well. Treant Protector, level 5 has level 3 living armor. We'll get the Overgrowth online, but he pretty much, once he hits level 7, he has everything he needs. Gonna pick up the Arcane Boots as well. And Bulldog with the double minus build is gonna use it on the main bear, and we'll just use it on the hero bear. I don't know if you get double the experience growth as well if you get the double minus. Loda gonna get Burrow Strike. The Hand of God gonna fly in from Fluff, but just Loda just too damn tanky, and Liquid just simply cannot pursue the issue. They're gonna rotate in TC as well, and they're gonna look to perhaps pick off Loda. Can they get the vacuum interrupt? They will get the vacuum interrupt, and Loda definitely gonna die. But Loda, I feel like he's just a huge diversion, just saying, come kill me, guys. Ignore our lone druid who's free farming. Just kill me. And because he's Bristleback, you have to devote at least 3 heroes to kill him off, even when he's only level 9. And the main strength of Bristleback is that he's very difficult to bring down. Beyond Living Armor just gonna allow Alliance to turtle up, heal up their towers, heal up their heroes as well. As for gonna come in, is Living Armored up. We'll be able to get the RP, but the smoke to see. I don't know if Fluff says, alright, is there somebody invisible, or the smoke just did not clip Liquid, but that smoke is going to be essentially worthless. I think Liquid just simply thought the smoke was not in range, as Liquid could potentially be in a bit of a frightening scenario, as KZ starting to get his form rolling, has his Arcane Boots. We'll try to make his way towards the dagger as EGM going to be in big trouble, has the Overgrowth online. Here comes Magnus with a huge RP, a gigantic skewer. The Lucy is going to be applied. Epicenter going to be used by KZ as well. Seems like Liquid going to make something out of nothing. Going to not able to pick up the kill on S4. And now Bulba going to be on trouble. Iron Shells dropping left and right. Close Spray going to be used as well. And Bulldog joined himself in this fight. Going to be able to get another kill on Bulba. And this should be a very easy middle tower for Alliance, as that was an RP and a half. And Liquid, I guess they just didn't realize that S4 was invisible. I guess they thought the Smoke to See just did not clip the Sand King, nor did it clip the Darkseer. Nice deny by Fluff, really good micro. We'll have to sacrifice the Troll as a result, but very much worth it in the end. But sensational RP. And the Shockwave was able to follow up, and Liquid, without a finished mecha, meant that they really didn't have enough HP to sustain themselves in the engagement. And they didn't have enough damage either. And Treant gonna hit level 7. Bulldog now at 3,100 gold in the bank. With that double minus, we'll get a 15-minute relic at this rate. Well, 15 and a half, maybe 16-minute. Still ridiculous considering he went for freaking double minus. Loda finished up the hood, gonna work his way towards the pipe. And yes, I mean, Liquid could potentially turtle up, but once the Bristleback does pick up the pipe, I mean, how can Liquid defend? They're gonna drop Iron Shells or Venomous Scales, and the pipe will just say lol to all of that. As here comes Push 10 Volt, just going to work on this top lane. TC, they know it's difficult for Alliance to initiate without the RP, and they know S4 does not yet have the RP back online, as they're making sure to constantly disable S4's Blink Dagger. Here comes KZ, gonna surge ahead, but unfortunately for him, just barely with the Burrow Strike. IX Mike just simply cannot land a Gale. I don't know if he's just has played Venomancer in a while, or these are just some epic jukes going on by Alliance, but these Gales have just been not impressive to say the least. IX Mike taking a lot of damage, this minus armor stacking up, and these close sprays going to work. Lotus still stacking up the goo, and you can see he's going to be healed up to a sufficient amount to force the Hand of God. TC in the backline is going to be able to kill up S4 with a couple more ticks of the Viper Strike. TC does manage to get a pretty big streak, but Keep Light is able to kill off Chen. IX Mike going to be on control, drops the Poison Nova, trying to do whatever he can, but the sideline just too tanky. They will be able to heal themselves up, as KZ going to go back and try to pick off Bulldog. We'll channel the Epicenter. Bulldog trying to go on his bear for the bashes, but KZ, unfortunately for Bulldog, does not get bashed. Loda just going ham on the side of Alliance. TC gonna get himself surged on out of there. Bulba now out of mana. Loda still going strong. I mean, this is such a deceptive amount of HP since he has level 4 Bristleback. This is pretty much, Loda can just shrug this off any day of the week.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Still decides not to push his luck, as that went surprisingly well in favor of Liquid. And you can see, S4, once his dagger is cancelled, Magnus loses a lot of effectiveness. since he can't get the surprise RP online. So Alliance went a bit too aggressively. Still, I mean, they fared out okay. Loda got a lot of experience, but did give Liquid a nice chunk of experience themselves, and now they have a Mega finished. Now TC's starting to get a lot of levels picked up the Shadow Blade since he did secure that Mega kill streak that S4 did accumulate. And KZ starting to save up the dagger, so Liquid, if they can manage to weather the storm a bit more. It's difficult to say who wins in the late game, but I do have to favor Alliance ever so slightly since they have the RP and they have the Bear, and Liquid have a Viper. You know, Ix Mike saying, you dodge my gales, I dodge your skewers. Or May just misses on both parts, since Ix like, we'll just slither on out of there very, very effectively. KZ really needs to get that dagger online. Still managed to cast that level 2 epicenter. But meanwhile, the tower gonna get sieged upon by Loda. He picked up a bit booster as well rather than going for the straight pipe. I like this a lot. Give him even more HP to play around with. And I mean, you really don't need pipe at this stage when you're not facing too many gals. You're not really looking to break the base just yet. Especially when your team's really widespread. That pipe not gonna give you too much effective HP compared to the hood if your team is not nearby. It seems like Liquid have enough maneuverability to kite Alliance enough to a sufficient degree that they can't really approach Liquid without facing too much opposition. As surge forward will go down to KZ. Ake gonna actually cancel its teleport. A bit of a misclick by Ake, but here comes S4. Casted the RP, only hit illusion, so S4 making a huge mistake. Ake will be the first one to fall, but the solo duration will go on to Fluff. Here comes TC as the overgrowth will be used as well. Fluff gonna die. S4 gonna cast one more shockwave. Meanwhile, Loda in the backlines taking up epicenter, taking up ion shells, just tanking up everything in the book, but now is facing forward. He will get killed off. Meanwhile, S4 died. So a big win for Liquid as they are holding on as best they possibly can, but Bulldog just saying, you forgot about me, I have my Radiance. I guess he doesn't. Wow. I guess that depth in the top lane really did cost him quite a bit. So a bit unfortunate for Bulldog. But he's going to have his relic up relatively soon. Was able to get a couple of claw swipes onto that bottom tower. Still, in the end, that drastically favored Liquid. And now KZ going to have his dagger. TC with more farm. And Viper, he's a very... He needs the kills. He's not really a momentum-based hero where if he gets lead, he'll just steamroll you into the ground. But if he manages to get enough kills, he can transition pretty well into the mid to late stages of the game. And if you keep feeding TC these kills, Viper will be able to get enough HP that Nether Toxin will become a huge issue as this game drags on and on. So Alliance playing a bit too aggressively for my liking, and I guess Bulldog, he had the Radiance recipe, just wanted the relic. So he is going to secure himself that Radiance. Maybe he bought the recipe when he did die on that top lane engagement. That's probably the likely scenario, so he don't lose too much gold. But now the Radiance has been fished by the Lone Druid. He's also level 14, so his experience is through the roof. Viper is keeping up with him because of all of these kills. As S4, really sensational micro by Fluff, constantly canceling S4's dagger, preventing the Blake in RPs. And, I mean, the past two engagements, S4 has not been able to get the proper RP online. But now with the Radiance, that is going to drive Liquid away once the Bear does approach the squad. Liquid is KZ trying to get in position, but the Radiance is going to disable his dagger. Slowly is going to charge in with the Living Armor, as well as the Flow Spray, going to be able to do a lot of damage onto the Chen Group's going to look to stack up a couple of other stacks of the Viscous Nasal Goo. And Alliance just bulldozing their way down Liquid's lane. The Bear taking a lot of damage. Meanwhile, S4, he is maneuvering himself. The Plague Ward's just simply not enough to cancel the dagger. Loda going to charge in, drawing the focus off of S4, and this is something that Bristleback can do better than a lot of heroes, as he is facing behind, so he's taking a lot less reduced damage. Vacuum going to come in, as well as the Ion Shell Overgrowth going to be used before EGM does die. Here comes the reverse polarity, as Bear starting to go to work, is going to cleave with the Empower. Loda taking a lot of damage, but look at how tanky he is, as Test of Faith just not doing enough. Loda will get picked off in the end. Liquid still coming out ahead because of that nice vacuum epicenter wall setup. And Alliance going to be driven away. So Alliance tried to brute force their way down Liquid's top lane, was unable to make that happen. And you can see Liquid thriving these clustered fights, being able to drop so many AoE ultimates like Epicenter, Poison Nova, and maybe this was Liquid's plan, if Alliance pick up 4 melee heroes, we'll just pick up a lot of team fight. And really, Alliance are inevitably going to clump up, and we're going to punish them when they do that. Still, I'm a bit worried. They couldn't bring down the Lone Druid, and Lone Druid's only going to get more and more tanky as this game goes on. He's not level 16, does not have the AC. he will get those items up eventually. And I don't know if TC has enough damage to kill off that lone druid by himself. He's going to get himself a Yasha, a nice item, as, I mean, it fits Viper to a T. Gives him move speed, gives him attack speed, and overall gives him more damage. Bulba, not too sure what he's going to go for. Might have to go for, I don't know, what will he go for? I think Aghanims will be very good in this game since everybody's clustered up for the most part. For me, in a fast Veil for the Sand King or the Venomancer could be a good option for Bulba if they feel like they're in a bit of trouble. I mean, I don't think Liquid necessarily thinks they're in a bit of trouble. And you can see the gold graph actually very drastically favoring Alliance. I think a lot of that has to be attributed to the Midas as well as the towers being pushed down, because you can see Liquid have not been able to claim a single tower to their name. Meanwhile, Alliance have been able to secure 3 towers themselves. S4 gonna go for the BKB, a smart choice because only Viper Strike goes to the BKB on the side of Liquid. Loda gonna pick up a chainmail, so it looks like he's trying to make his way towards the blade mail. And you can see Bristleback taking so much damage, but with enough AoE, you can kill off Bristleback as well as kill off the other team. So I guess that's Liquid's response to killing off the Bristleback, and Magic Wand just renders Bristleback a lot less useful than he otherwise could be. Liquid actually going to smoke up. They're going to blink in with KZ. Going to get a double stun. Do they have the epicenter? They do. He's going to channel it up as the RP will be used. KZ going to have his epicenter canceled. HM going to drop the overgrowth as well as healing seed. And meanwhile, the Illuminate going to catch everybody. The Bulldog's Bear just starting to go to work as Trade Protector was the only catch the Alliance thus far. And it seems like Liquid are on full retreat. Bulba going to surge himself away to safety, but they're going to sacrifice Axe Mike to the Wolves, or to the Bear more appropriately, as the Centaur actually blocking off Bulba's retreat by a little bit. Bear has not yet picked up a single root as far as I can see in this game. So Bulldog's trademark Bear look has not been in effect. Still a 2-4 engagement for Alliance. Definitely gotta be feeling a bit more pleased. As TC will get gooed up. Gonna dodge it with the Shadow Blade. And one thing I forgot to mention is that the Viscous Nasal Blade definitely works on Roshan. And that Midas Armor really does go to work in killing off Roshan very quickly. So if Alliance does manage to get an opening, when Liquid don't have the AoE ultimates online, they can potentially kill off Roshan in a matter of moments, especially with this really far into Silver. Still, Liquid, all things considered, it didn't go too badly for them. They weren't able to get the epicenter off. They didn't drop the vacuum or the wall. They dropped the Poison Nova, I do believe. Still, if that's the only AoE ultimate they could get off, I mean, it's gonna go a lot better for them if they do manage to get their full combination off. It could go the way of the top lane, where it was just a complete massacre in favor of Liquid. Still, it's getting very, very fearsome. We're getting very tanky, and Liquid, will they have enough burst damage? That's a real question. They need to get a perfect teamfight online. And you can see Alliance deciding to play against Liquid's AoE by just staying the heck back, using the Bear to chip away, and Moda to just charge in, do damage with his Warpath hits to do a lot more additional damage to the tower. And Liquid, they're just gonna try to defend as best they can. They're dropping the Plague Wards, but that is just gonna tickle to the likes of Lola, as well as the Spirit Bear. Bulba gonna surge himself forward, trying to get a vacuum, but look at the spread. Here comes the vacuum, does manage to catch Bulldog. Epicenter gonna fall through. EGM taking a lot of edge. The Poison Gale will be popped. Here comes the Overgrowth, as all EGM might actually perish from this engagement. Bulba gonna be a lot of trouble. Seems like the RP was used by S4, catching everybody inside Liquid, and this is gonna be a complete massacre for Alliance. Oh my god. That RP completely changed the tides of battle. KZ, you can run, but you can't hide. And they didn't even have a Spirit Bear to their name. Bulldog fought without his furry friend for a moment, but that RP by S4, wow, what a play. That allowed Alliance to win the teamfight when it looked a bit iffy. It looked like an even teamfight, but now Liquid are gonna be in a severe deficit. And Liquid, they don't have the strongest pushing line, so they can't actually split push down these towers to try to combat this death ball. And the teamfight's not working out, which it didn't work out in the last game, or in this last fight, and with Aegis being secured by the Magnus, definitely a smart choice. It might have gone to the 100, but I think S4 is being the prime target of focus for Liquid, and making sure you get the RP off is going to be the way that Alliance can potentially win the game. Okay, with the mechanism, Admiral Bulldog trying to finish up the AC. S4 gonna finish the BKB relatively soon. Actually, we'll have the BKB, and that means he won't really be troubled by any sources of Liquid DPS outside the Viper Strike and the physical hits. Fluff has a Vip Booster trying to tank up as best he can. TC, Yasha, and Shadowblade not enough in terms of DPS. Viper just pretty slow in terms of dealing his damage. X Mike, reasonable amount of items, pretty tanky, all things considered. Bulba, I don't know what he's saving up for, as I think he doesn't know himself what he's saving up for. Could potentially be saving for an Aghanims, could be going for a Hex, but he is holding on to a lot of gold, and he might have to make his decision relatively soon. EGM just with Dust, and Loda has finished the Blade Mail, will likely make his way into the pipe, and then at that stage, Alliance will try to push to end the game. The Gold Graph, after that last failed fight by Liquid, just took a huge upswing for Alliance. The Experience Graph mirroring that result as well, as Loda going to be the sole teleporter onto the top lane, and Liquid knows that they don't have enough damage to come off, especially the Blade Mail online. They'll likely take way too much damage themselves. Viper Strike will be applied. Viper Strike not the longest cooldown, so not really the worst ultimate to burn casually. And now Loda just going to shrug it off, going to regen up, 16 HP regen per second with his items. Means that that's all well and good. You can take that damage any day of the week, and it seems like Alliance going to maneuver themselves in towards the top lane. Aki going to try to hold off the bottom push by himself, as Bulba picked up a Mystic Staff. Is this going to be a Hex or a Shivas? I don't know if he can actually finish the Hex before Alliance starts their push, and it might actually have to be a Shivas. KZ managed to land some couple epicenters, but I'd really prefer that the Darkseer went for a fast Veil, because it seems like Liquid are very reliant on the magical damage, and they just need everything they possibly can to bring down this really tanky lineup that Alliance has managed to concoct, as KZ gonna get all his dagger cancelled by the burn damage from the bear, as well as taking a lot of reduced damage because he faced the wrong way. X-Like is able to drop the Venomous Scale, as Low is going to keep up the pursuit onto KZ. KZ is going to get sent right back home. Meanwhile, Wall was dropped, but just not in a good position. Bullock going to be on show. Keep in mind, Bullock does not have the Aegis. But Overgrowth, a good time by EGM, will preserve Bulldog's life. Unlimited's going to fly and clean up the kill. Actually, 100 did pick up the last hit. KZ going to get himself back into the thick of things, as Meow Loda is going to keep the chase, going to stack those Viscous Nasal Goos, and Marian's burn damage being applied to TC. The Minus are being applied to KZ, going to blink himself out to safety, just simply not enough, as that epicenter was channeled at the worst possible instant. Bristleback going to secure himself another kill. Aegis still has 3 minutes left onto the Magnus. And the Lions just gonna push in, and this time Liquid, they don't have any ultimates to face the Rax push, and I don't know if Liquid can defend it without any of their ultimates online. They're gonna have to get a lot of wards stacked up, but unfortunately Alex Mike did just respawn, I think. So only on one word will hold off the squad of Alliance as they decide to go for the Death Ball push. Meanwhile, here comes the RP, another well-placed RP. Somebody's getting sent back home. Too much damage being pumped out by Alliance, as Low is going to pick up a double kill, saying this is some sweet revenge, as GG's called. Alliance with a really clever draft, really capitalized on Liquid's lack of DPS. And Liquid, without their team fight working out, just simply did not have what it took to bring down Alliance's tanky lineup. I mean, this is one of the most tanky lineups I've ever seen in Dota. So hard to bring down, especially with Liquid's lineup. So Alliance making Bristleback work out. Yeah, as far as the dual lane carry goes, if you do want to run dual lanes, Bristleback is definitely not your worst option with Keeper, because you can just spam the Coil Spray. Still, I mean, when you have a train, you can pretty much put anybody you want in a dual lane if you have Keeper. So I think that game was largely won on the backs of Bulldog as well as the Treant Protector. And Meow Liquid are going to have to go into Game 3. Might have to consider banging out the Treant if they can't get it up themselves. And Meow, if they do that, they might give up Lone Druid, as Rank just got way too many heroes on their side that they liked, and I don't think Dire's lineup really had too much synergy outside of team fights. So, hopefully you enjoy that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.